All righty, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for what is today? The 4th of June, 2025. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. We've got another Flyers bit of business getting done over the last couple of days. Danny Briere with a couple of nice pieces of business done, dusted, and off the to-do list. He got the extension done the other day. The 2-year deal worth $3.75 million AAV for Tyson Foerster. And yesterday, they get the deal done 4x4 for one Noah Cates. So the Flyers getting some of the business of the offseason done and out of the way in advance of the draft, which I was listening to, I forget where I was listening to. Maybe it was on Kipper and Bourne with Elliot Friedman talking about this week, a lot of conversations with the non-centralized draft this year. The GMs, the time they'll have to be face-to-face is this week at the NHL Draft Combine. So I imagine a lot of groundwork, if not deals, could get done this week for the NHLs as the GMs kind of go face-to-face and look at the draft eligible players at the NHL Draft Combine. Over 100 players there available. Busy week, I'm sure. But Danny Briere getting that 4-year deal done with Noah Cates, 4x4. I really like this contract. It's, hey, we both really like each other. We're not married forever, but we got a good deal here, fair to the player, fair to management, or fair to the organization. 4x4 for Noah Cates. A really consistent performer. When you look at Cates this past year, it's amazing. And you look at this contract. Cates didn't start the year on the team. He was a healthy scratch for the first couple of games. Matter of fact, his first game wasn't until the Flyers played on the 12th of October against Calgary on the road. I think it was the third game of the year. All said and done, though, last year, he played in 78 games. He had 16 goals, 21 assists, 37 points, was a +3 on the team. He carried 1553 in ice time and really found some big-time chemistry with that line with Bobby Brink and Tyson Foerster. They just all complemented each other. It worked for some reason. It was a line that kind of came together by accident, but it worked. Now, I don't know that line is going to come into next year and have that same chemistry. Sometimes that kind of chemistry like that isn't something that goes into another season. But we also see situations where, like Lindros and Leclerc fit together like peaches and cream. And any year they would have had chemistry together as part of the Legion of Doom, no matter who the other winger was, whether it was Renberg or whatever it might be. Early in his career, it was Eric Lindros, Mark Recchi, and Brent Fedek, the crazy eights line. But we'll see about that. But all said and done, Noah Cates had a really good year. I think he shocked a lot of people. The thing that shocked me about his game was the shot. He scored some goals on some shots, clear-sighted shots, and just beat goalies. I was surprised by that. But 16 goals, 21 assists, 37 points. He's now played in, can you believe this? He played in 235 NHL games. That's incredible already. He's got 102 points in those 235 games. And he's a player that will do all the little non-glorious things for you. I think he's a player that I look at and I go, he's the kind of player I want on my team when I'm a playoff team. I think he's a guy that can pay dividends in a 7-game series. And I don't mean offensive dividends. I mean, when the ice gets really tight, I think he's a guy that can really help you in the playoffs. Now, we haven't seen him in the playoffs, so this is just a gut feeling. And I saw the one comment on the YouTube comment section, 456 Yukon, in response to Monday's episode with Bill Meltzer, said the Flyers will make it to the second round this year. And I read that. I just thought to myself, what a silly statement. You guys know I'm an optimistic guy. I carry a lot of optimism about the team. And I hope they're moving in the right direction. These decisions that have to be made this offseason, like the Foerster and like the Cates contract, have to be made with a very diligent eye of detail and prudent behavior of what you're going to do moving forward. Because as we talked about on Monday's episode, you just don't have the margin for error in contract extensions, players acquired, players signed, free agents, drafts, all of that. Timing and when a player comes into the NHL and the arc of their development, you got to be spot on. And that guy goes, Flyers going to make the second round this year. I don't even know what the team is going to look like next year right at this point. I can't say whether they're going to even be better next year than they were this year, based on what I know as I sit here on the 4th of June. That's just blind optimism. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the goalie room is going to look like. I don't know what players may be traded or not traded, or what players will be acquired, either free agency, trade, draft, whatever it is. You can't make a prediction about the Flyers getting to the second round of the playoffs next year on June 3rd. Like, that's just silly to me. You can't make that prediction now. And like I said, I'm as optimistic a guy as they come. I can't live in the negative world right now. I don't have the luxury of doing that, giving my fight with cancer. So I have to live in an optimistic world. And I can't sit here and say Flyers are going to get to the second round next year. I don't know if they're getting to the playoffs. I don't know what they're going to be next year. Nobody does yet. Danny Briere doesn't know yet. Now, he may have some ideas of directions he's going, and based on talks with other GMs, no players he's trying to acquire, sure. But to just blindly say the Flyers are going to the second round of the playoffs next year is a little, that's just throwing a dart out there. And then you can go, if they do, you go, well, I said it back on June 3rd that they were going to make the second round. Well, that's just blind luck then at that point. But Noah Cates gets the deal done. I was nervous about Tyson Foerster maybe getting offer sheeted, especially after his performance in the World Hockey Championship. So those two pieces of business are out of the way. And I think that's important for Danny Briere to check the boxes of these things that you need to get done. Now, the other really interesting one that's out there, obviously, is Cam York, who needs to be extended as well. How does that play out? I think with York, it's really interesting because 2 years ago, I thought he had a really good year. This year, the injury set him back, the shoulder, and he never really got his legs under him. His season just kind of didn't go the way he wanted. And again, development isn't always just this straight line up, this arc up. Sometimes you take a step backwards to take a couple of steps forward. And we'll see if that is the case with Cam York. But what does that contract look like as a result? We'll see. That's a piece of business that I'll be interested to see how it plays out. A lot of people have asked me, is he a player that could be traded? Well, his value might be a little depressed based on where it was the year prior, because last year wasn't as good as the year prior from play and development standpoint. So you got to weigh those elements of the equation as well. But congrats to Noah Cates. He gets out of the KFC and on the road and into the Mortons along with Tyson Foerster. They'll be eating healthy when they hit the road next season. So congrats to Noah Cates. Still a young player in this league. He is 26. Like I said, he's played in 235 games, but he went the collegiate route, so he comes in a little bit later. He doesn't have a lot of NHL miles on his body, and even those collegiate miles aren't nearly as heavy as they even are in junior, because they just don't play as many games. So Noah Cates, at 26 years of age, will be 27 coming up on February 5th of this year. Congrats to him on the new contract. So why don't we celebrate? Why don't we go to Noah Cates' Flyers exit day interview and check in with the man who just signed the contract. Now, we recorded this, obviously, before he signed it. But here's Noah Cates on his season, contract, and much more. Chemistry with Bobby Brink and Tyson Foerster. Here's my Flyers exit day conversation with Noah Cates. It is the Flyers offseason exit day interview series, and joining us right now, one of the really good storylines from the 24-25 season, the emergence of center Noah Cates, and he joins us right now. Catesy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Man, you don't look like you just played 82 games. You got energy and spunk. You always got that smile. How you feel?
Feeling good, yeah. I think after this season, kind of a little weight kind of comes off you. Such a grind all year, just kind of preparing for the next game. So to kind of just have, the time now to be around the guys, hang out. Obviously, you wish circumstances were a little better, but, after the year, there's always a gregreat feeling to get through a NHL season. Obviously, it's hard, it's a lot of work, but kind of the feeling and the reward, obviously, when you're dreaming about doing this as a kid, is kind of always comes out, and you're just happy to be around your teammates and hang out and have some fun with the guys. Having gone through that grind of 82 games, and you played 82 a couple of years ago, back in the 22-23 season. Did you learn something over those years and how to manage the 82-game schedule coming out of the college game? Yeah, definitely. Just kind of learning from, if you have a day off and you got to play, or if you have a back-to-back, kind of the different things that you need to do to prepare and feel your best. Obviously, it's all mental, kind of going into a game.
Yeah.
You're usually never feeling 100%, but kind of the mental aspect to get yourself ready. But obviously, there's a lot of physical things, with the different schedules and travels that we have to feel your best. So I think that's one of the the best things that I do is preparing and willing to do whatever it takes to feel my best and do my best and give my all to this team.
And a lot of that work takes place in the summer. You train like a mad dog, man, and that'll continue, I'm sure. But going back to the start of the season, you were a healthy scratch. I always wonder how a player will respond to adversity like that. You responded in all the right ways and let your game do the talking. What was that like to start the year like that? And then as you sit here now, knowing what you accomplished and the steps you made as a player?
Yeah, obviously something I'm really proud of. Never been healthy scratch before, so definitely a humbling, experience. But I think I kept a really good mindset. I, stayed focused. That it's a long year. That I'd get my chance, and I knew when I got it that I'd take it and run with it. And it obviously helped me down the stretch. There's hard times. There's you're not feeling your best, but there was that always kind of in the back of your head that I was out at the beginning of the year. I had something to prove. It's always better to be playing than sitting out. So give you a little extra jump, kind of during the dog days sometimes that you deserve to be in the lineup, that you're going to play a little bit harder.
You're a guy that plays a very honest game in all zones. And very reliable. I think your worst game and your best game are so close to each other. What a coach loves is a predictable play. I know what I'm going to get out of him every time, every game, and pretty much every shift. But this year, you found more offense and creativity to add to those other elements. Maybe where it was before is we're going to prevent the other team from scoring on my shifts. Now it's we're going to prevent the other team from scoring, but we're also going to generate some offense. You did it against some good top lines as well. Going in with that confidence into the offseason to push the offensive envelope more will be big for your growth, won't it?
For sure. Yeah, obviously I think with our line, just kind of the chemistry that we got and just how well we complemented each other was big for not only the defending part, but kind of the pushing the offensive envelope. Playing with Bobby, just such an elite offensive mind, and then Tyson obviously kind of has all the tools on both sides of the puck and had a great year. So I can't say enough good things about those guys. They pushed me. They helped me a ton. Get that confidence on both sides of the puck, and I think we just found a good chemistry and complement each other really well. On both sides of the puck, and really pushed the envelope this year with kind of how we can play and how we need to play to have success.
How quickly did you know that there was a lot of chemistry with the three of you? Sometimes you can only kind of find two guys with chemistry, and that third guy rotates in and out a little bit. To find it with three guys as pronounced as it was with you guys, how quickly did you guys as players know that chemistry existed?
I forget kind of when we got put together, but I think I'm just glad they stuck with us, because I think right away we weren't scoring, but we were generating some chances.
Yeah.
And
you were tilting the ice.
Yeah, definitely. And then once we found it, there was games where we were all over it. We were buzzing so well. So just luckily they found it and then stuck with it. But yeah, I think right away kind of knew all the elements. Those guys, I think we're scratched at the beginning of the year as well for a game or two. So I think the biggest thing that when I talk about our line is that we just played hard for each other. I talk about like our complementing each other and our skill sets, but when you got guys that are playing hard for each other, we're talking to each other, wanting the best for each other. I think that was kind of the most special thing that you saw from our line.
Yeah, that communication on the bench, to be able to hold each other accountable and be able to communicate. Yeah, I'm feeling this. I'll go here. It's really important to have those conversations on the bench and to remain with each other for an extended period of time. Maybe go through a couple games where you don't score or it's not the best, but to stick to it it makes you guys feel like we're still net positive here.
100%. Yeah, it was great for the three of us this year.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I think it's really important, and that line, maybe it wasn't scripted to be there. It ended up, but sometimes just don't mess with it. When you guys moving forward, you want to get this thing going in the right direction. You want to be a playoff team. The frenzy of the first round and how crazy it is, and to get back there. The team is in the state now of the rebuild where it's time to add. You do have a contract that's coming up this offseason. How do you not let that affect your summer? Just let the agent do his work?
Yep, that. You know, kind of went through it 2 years ago. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, I'm in a good spot. I feel like I've seen a lot. It's only been 3 years, but I've, you know, seen a lot, gone through a contract, you know.
Establish yourself too.
Yeah, just kind of feel like I've seen a lot, you know, won't get too high or low with different things. I think, you know, maybe when I was, you know, younger, a couple years ago, there were some highs and lows, you know, having a good year, and then, you know, that summer maybe my mindset was a little bit different, you know, maybe getting away from where I was as a player, but I feel like I'm well equipped now, you know, mentally, on the mental side of the, you know, the game and the business to you know, stay even keel, like you were saying, you know, do my thing and just prepare for another year. And like you said, take a step, because, you know, I think it's about that time, like you said, in the rebuild where we do take a step. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just feeling how you want to feel going into a summer and on the ice, but, you know, off the ice, I think is like the biggest thing. Like I was saying, I'm mentally equipped to, you know, not get too high or low, to, you know, have a little slump. Obviously, I'm not the biggest point guy, but I think if I'm, you know, right there where I was this year, you know, just helping the team and on both sides of the puck, that I can, you know, really help, you know, get us to where we want to be.
When's the next time you'll put skates on the dogs?
Probably June.
June?
Probably, yeah. June's like once or twice a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Just kind of keep it light, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, more just kind of have fun on the ice. You know, during the season, it's a little bit of a grind. You can try different things. So, but then obviously July comes around and
kick
up
the gear.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but you know, just enjoy the summer. I obviously enjoy, you know, working out, like you said, the conditioning aspect of it, and, you know, just preparing for you know, 82 games, and, you know, trying to be the best that I can be to help this team. So
82 and beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond 82. That's where
sure.
the fun's at, for sure. Any plans, vacations, anything big this summer for you?
No, a lot of weddings. Expecting.
Yeah, you're at that age, man.
Yeah,
everybody's getting married.
So, yeah, expecting a kid in June too. So that's really exciting as well. So.
Do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Oh, nice.
So really excited.
Jason, name?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'll change you for sure.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So,
you timed it good too, or the wife timed it good, because you'll be around. Sometimes you want to time it to have that kid when you go back on the road so you can get some sleep.
Yeah, it'll be good to obviously be around for the first couple months and you know, learn kind of the ins and outs, and, you know, obviously then be ready for the season. And it'll be different with the kid, but obviously very exciting, and obviously a huge blessing.
Absolutely. Noah, thanks for doing this. Great season from you. Looking forward to next year, and enjoy your summer, enjoy the training, enjoy becoming a father, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. I remember when my son was born, now 18 years ago. When he was born, I looked at his ears and I said, I can barely write my name legibly. Somehow I created that ear. It's perfect. It's crazy.
That is.
So enjoy it.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Noah Cates. It's so funny. If you go on Hockey Reference and bring up Noah Cates' stats, the picture that's there, he looks like a little kid. They got to update his picture. I had to be taken when he was 18, because he doesn't look that young anymore. Now, he's a 5th round pick, too. I love seeing like a 5th round pick, you know, not only get to the league, but find a place and find a contract like that in the league. Like, that's awesome. That's good stuff. How did Noah Cates do it? Through controlling the things he can control, like his fitness, and working his rear end off. And the willingness to be a guy that's going to do some of the less glorious things in the game. You know, be a shutdown player, be a detailed player. That's why he's got the contract. So I'm happy for him. And I think it's a good deal for the Flyers too. I like the number in a rising cap world. I like the number. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back Friday. We'll continue our Flyers Exit Day interview series. Then join us on a brand new episode on Friday right here on Flyers Daily.